Are you currently deciding if you should buy a property, whether it be a vacation property or a rental? Most people have that hurdle they have to get over. And in 2001, I was in the exact same position. And I hope this story helps you kind of pull the trigger and move forward to actually buying the property. Back in 2001, I was a school teacher. I just graduated college in 1997 with student debt. And back then, I think we were getting paid like $22,000, $23,000 a year to be teachers. So didn't have much money, had debt, had a used car, but I had dreams of more. I had dreams of buying property. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be potentially a landlord, but didn't know I wanted to be a landlord yet, kind of thing. So a good friend of mine who went to school with, we always talked about starting a business, working for ourselves. And one time we discussed actually, hey, what about buying rental property? Now, mind you, he was a school teacher too, and neither one of us had any money, so it was a pipe dream at first. But we always discussed it and kind of thought, hey, how can we get started? When would be the perfect time to buy? So fast forward like 2 years, and we still were, scraping for every dollar, trying to pay off the student loans, buy new vehicles, get family started. He actually was married at the time. I was not, had no kids. And believe it or not, I had something amazing happen, and I won $10,000. And how did I win $10,000? Well, besides being a school teacher, I also worked for a local distributor helping sell Budweiser. I was a marketing person, a salesperson. Back then, they were trying to get younger people to buy Budweiser and Bud Light because the demographics obviously were older. So I frequented the bars quite a bit as extra income to help me through the times. Well, one bar, because I lived downtown Annapolis, that we became really close friends with, the bartenders there, was called Acme Bar and Grill. And this year, back then, they actually had a contest going on for Monday Night Football. And every time that you drank a beer prior to the football game, you got to enter in a piece of paper with the halftime and final score of the game, with who was going to win and lose and stuff like that. Well, mind you, I had a lot of entries in every Monday night. I was always with my brother. We enjoyed going there eating wings, and we never got picked. It just never happened. Well, this one crazy Monday night, we had a whole bunch of entries in, and one of my many entries was chosen. So Greg and I, my brother, hanging out, having a great time, doing what we do, and halftime sneaks up on us, and he's like, "Mitch, you have the halftime score perfectly." And I'm like, holy cow. So I take a look at the paper and I look at it. I'm like, I do. And, we both are kind of going back and forth. And he's like, are you staying? And I never stayed because I had to get up in the morning and go teach the next day. I'm like, hey, man, I got to get back to the apartment and go to sleep. Luckily for me, it was just a walk right around the corner. So I walk back to the apartment and I just crash. I'm out. And around 12:30 or so, I hear him come in this apartment and he is hollering and screaming and just making all kinds of noise. And I pop up and he's like, you got to come back to the bar. You got to come back to the bar right now. So I jumped up, got some clothes on, and, we ran back to the bar and I walked in and they're all going crazy. And I had won. The final score of the game was also exactly what was on my tickets. I won a trip to the Super Bowl. And so I'm talking to the bartender and he says, the owner's going to give you a call tomorrow morning. That way you can decide from there what you would like to do. So I get this phone call on my way to school, and it's the owner. And he says, hey, Mitch, it's 100% real. You won a trip to the Super Bowl. And I didn't like the teams that were potentially going to be going to the Super Bowl that year. So I thought I'd ask, hey, is there another prize I can substitute that for? And he said, actually, there's a cash value. It's for $10K. Well, I'm like, sold. I'll take the $10K. And again, for me, that was huge. Credit card debt. I was thinking I'd buy a new car because the old car I had it was time to upgrade for sure. Well, I called my buddies up. I told them, and the one buddy down here at the beach, I called and told him, and we were kind of talking, and I was like, man, this might be a great start for us to buy some rental properties. Now, mind you, neither one of us at the time had anything. We didn't have a business plan. We were just like, hey, let's buy one property a year for 18 years. And then when the kids get to college, we'll sell houses off to pay for their college. That was our business plan. The whole thing was on a napkin at the bar type of thing. He's like, well, come on down to the beach and we'll get a realtor and we'll go out and look at properties. I'm like, great. So I get a free weekend. I go down and we had convinced this seasoned agent to show us around. She did roll her eyes when we first told her the story, but You never know. I sell property now, and you never try to guess who a buyer or a seller is going to be. You just treat everybody the same. And she showed us some properties. Nothing really matched, but what was the highlight of that trip was my buddy had known a lender from where he taught school. So we met the lender, had a great conversation. The lender was incredible, super motivational, loved our story, thought we were young. At the time I was 24, I think Tim was 23. And, he was like, this is a great time to start investing. And we're like, start investing? Like, we're just looking to do this one because we found this money. So long story short, I got pre-approved. We were all good to go for me to put an offer on a house if we found one. And a couple of weeks we go down, nothing, go down the third time, and we find the perfect little property about a mile from the campus. And our goal was to rent to college students and then keep doing that each year for the rental income. And this house was not nice on the outside, but it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, hardwood floors on the inside, but it was dated, it was older. And I want to say we bought it for like $100,000, $110,000. So the $10,000 was a perfect amount of money to put down for down payment and closing costs back then. And I know everybody's saying right now who's listening, well, back then you could buy a house for nothing. But again, you have to look at the time for what I was making and how much debt I had. So it would be the equal to now. I'm making $25,000 a year buying a $100,000 property, and I'm, $30,000 or $40,000 in debt with student loans and everything. So again, the story still relates to today because today we still have the same issues. And the issue is nobody ever pulls the trigger. And so we pulled the trigger and we go in, we do all the grinding. We're grinders, we're workers. I go down on the weekends and we get this house ready to get rented. And we put it on the market to rent. And I'm not gonna lie to you, within a couple of days, we had multiple applications and we actually ended up renting it to 3 college students. And I think we were getting, I want to say total rent was about $600 a month. That same place, I don't own it now, would be getting about $1,500 to $1,800 of rent. So it shows you, time on market and depreciation. The reason I tell you this story is because that one house then led me into 5 more, which then led into 14 more, then led into like owning an apartment complex. So what happened was it became a snowball effect because you then believe in what you're doing, and then you learn the systems to how to best operate it, to the point where my buddy and I had a full-fledged rental business. I had quit teaching and moved down to the beach. Now, I wasn't making a whole bunch of money, but we were creating wealth for ourselves early on. And why do I tell this story? What's the important part about the story? And the important part is how we started is it the right time to buy? And to be honest with you, I could have done so many more fun things with that money. But instead, I took a chance on myself. That's kind of what this is when you're looking to buy property, you need to find that opportunity, that chance, and you take it. What they always say, scared money doesn't make any money at all. So yeah, it can sit in your bank account getting, below 1% interest for you, but you're never going to get to where you want to go. If you're watching this and you're thinking, how do I get the start? The start is this. And this is all my advice to everybody is you have to look at yourself in the mirror and go, I want something more. And once you flip that switch, you then will work to make it succeed. And I have all kinds of stories from 2001 to current day on the ebb and flow of the market. And, back in when we had the great financial, recession, the GFC, how it killed some of our business and other things and how we had to rebound. So there's always ebb and flow with everything that you do, but you need to buckle down and believe in yourself. And that's the one key take that I want to say to you is it doesn't make a difference if it's a rental property in Salisbury, Maryland, or a vacation property in Ocean City, Maryland. It's a matter of you making that decision, take your discretionary funds and doing it. And everybody says, well, I don't have enough money. And I like to say, because I watch a ton of podcasts like you, is we don't always have an income problem. We have a spending problem. We all live up to these higher means instead of living at a little bit lower level means and stashing some money away. So then we're able to take that to then take this chance. So if you ever have any questions or want to hear my story, feel free to reach out to me. I love talking about real estate and I appreciate your time.